Good Saturday afternoon, everyone. I hope this day finds you doing well. Before you come in the chat, please hit the thumbs up, subscribe if you haven't already, and share this video. So I went out thrifting today, the normal place where I get my 99.9% of my items. I was there. I went there one day, skipped a day, and went there today, and there was nothing there that I felt like that was remotely interesting. So I just went on down a couple exits and stopped in at the Salvation Army, where I found a lot of good things. And I usually just come on here and share these with you guys in advance. But I did get some pretty amazing Waterford crystal, and that's saying a lot because that stuff is normally very hard to find. And I think there's 11 of them. So we'll give it just a few minutes for some people to come in, and then we will go through this glassware. And another thing that I really enjoy, I don't think this is vintage, but it looks like it. So naturally, when I seen it, I had to pick it up. So says Sacco's, and it's in really good condition. And so I did pick that up. Got the little black flower, very nice for the winter time. And I had to have that one. I do like the vintage hats, but sometimes they're hard to get a hold of in good shape. So we can't have the authentic vintage. We just pick up something that resembles it. So I'll give it just a few more minutes, and I'll go ahead and show this wonderful glassware. I just came in probably about 20 minutes ago, and I just decided to go live, and that's usually how I do it. There will be a sale probably, I'm not really for sure yet, but it'll be after the first of the year. So that's what my plans are. So, and there will be many things offered, what you're getting ready to see, plus all the other things. The beautiful linden clock that looks like it's stepped off from the showroom floor, but it is vintage. So we'll go ahead and go into this. I was rather surprised that I didn't find anything at my usual place, but we'll start out with the best first. And this is Waterford crystal, and it is absolutely vintage. They're water glasses. Right there you have a ball on the bottom, and it's absolutely crystal. And I've got 11 of them, so probably on the 12th one, somebody probably broke it and donated 11, but that is beautiful Waterford crystal. Give you a measurement. Let me see if I can't find my... When in doubt, just go to where you Googled it, and it'll tell you. Let's see here. And there's Zeus. Hello and welcome in, sweetie. It's good to see you. So yeah, I thought that was quite the score, being Waterford crystal. That don't happen. Not to get 11 of them. Like I said, the 12th one was probably broken. They're all in really good condition. So I went to where I usually go. I went there twice this week, and they just didn't have anything. It really surprised me because normally that's where 99.9% of my things come from, and they just didn't have anything. So I decided to go down a couple exits and hit the Salvation Army, and I think that was a wise decision. And went in and found this beautiful Waterford crystal. It's a Rotundu Marquise Waterford crystal. Now, if that's not a mouthful, but there we are, and they're in wonderful shape. They are vintage, and looking through here, I see a a set of two selling for $40, and I have 11. So I think that was quite the score. Hey, Facey Ace, welcome in, sweetie. I hope you guys had a nice holiday. And it's good to see you. And thank you for always leaving comments on the videos. It helps. In the long run, it does help. And there's Jean. Welcome in. I was just showing them the Waterford crystal that I picked up at the Salvation Army. I hadn't been there very long, and it's a Rotundu Marquise Waterford crystal. And I have 11 of them. And welcome in, you guys. I appreciate you being here. I know there's a ton of people on. And it says dessert glassware, so it does go for a pretty penny online. Hey, Mama Chola. Hey, hey, hey. And they're from 2004. And it's Rotundu Waterford Crystal, which that was a big score. But like I said, I just couldn't find anything at my old thrift. And all the stuff's going up. I'm not keeping anything. I bought it absolutely to offer it to you guys. And I felt like that was quite the score. And two of them on here, they're selling for $40 for two. And I've got 11. So that was a score. And thank you guys for coming in. Don't forget that thumbs up, please. And thank you. So they did the best they could do. And I was watching them like a hawk because I was able to get a hold of all of it's clear. And I spent a good amount of time in the glassware. I got questioned to do. Give me a permission to put you with the motorcycle video. I just want to show the motorcycle you gave me. That's fine, Facey Ace. That's fine, sweetheart. You have my full permission. These, they need to invest in some wrapping paper or something because you're very welcome. And this I've got, and then I have this one right here, and I have some small ones like this, and I have the larger size. I have 6 of this, and look how beautiful that is. And I'll tell you what those are. And thank you guys for being here. So let's go back into the archives here. See what else we can dig up. Let me back it up a little bit. T's not on? Saturday's usually her day, isn't it? I'll be darned. I hope everything's okay with her. So, this is a vintage Bohemian Crystal Cascade. No, it's not. Hang on. I was trying to make pictures in there, and the lights were making it look like it was etched, and it's not. Yeah, because usually she's pretty much on every Saturday, I thought. And I thought this was pretty fortunate to get. I hope she's okay. Oh, this is a Bohemia Claudia crystal water goblet or wine glass is what that is. Bohemia Claudia water goblet or wine glass, and it is vintage. And every time I would make a picture in the store, it would pick up the lights from above. And it made it look etched, but I do have 6 of these as well, and I do have some larger ones. I think these are all the small ones. And then I do have a couple that has this pattern on them right there with the and they're really nice. And they're fine crystal according to that. Yep, listen to that. Hey Minnie, welcome in, sweetie. Nothing like crystal, right? And I got 6 of them, and a couple of them have that on the bottom, and a couple of them have this where it's kind of faceted right there on that. And I thought the Waterford was quite the score. I better set these over here. So all these things will be going up. It'll be, let's see, boy, this time is going fast. You know what? Here we're coming up on another new year. Can you believe it, guys? Where'd last year go? It just flew by. So let me take a look at the calendar and see what we have. It looks like it will probably fall on the day after New Year's, which is on a Friday. And all this stuff's going up. I'm not keeping any of it. It's all going up. And I thought the quality on these were really, really nice. And so I went ahead and picked those up. Really nice quality, you know, you got crystal going on, but the biggest score was absolutely the Waterford crystal, the vintage Waterford crystal. That was quite the score right there. Let's move on. Okay. I gotta see what's what in here, guys. They really need to invest in some newspaper or something, because these are really neat right here. Of course, they don't expect someone to come in and buy a whole herd of glass neither. Now these are hand blown margarita glasses. And I think I've got 6 of those as well. And of course, it's got that classic margarita shape to it. And I have 6 of those. And they are hand blown according to, they grouped them all together for me. And I'll probably set them out. So I do have a total of 6 on that. Make sure that I don't. Let's see here. What was this? Oh, this here. Of course, it's not a huge haul, but it's enough. But I thought I'd come on here. And these are still the small ones. I do have bigger ones exactly like that. And the price was right, so I just went ahead and grabbed those. Seem to be very popular. Let's put that in there very gently. I guess they don't expect someone to come in there and almost remove all their glassware, but couldn't help it, guys. It was the deals was too good. Okay, let's put this over here very gently. So here we have another bag. I'm like, I was cringing as they were wrapping this stuff. I'm like, no. Oh my God, guys, these are fantastic. You may have seen, I've never seen anything quite like them, so I went ahead and picked them up. And these are martini glasses, and they're very vintage and very different. So I see bubbling in some of the bottoms. So I did get a total of 4 of these. Because everybody likes something different, right? And I would say they're vintage just by looking at them. It's a margarita glass. But check this out. I've got one that look at that. That is a martini glass, and look at the bottom of that. Very different. I've seen some bubbling in some of the bottom of them, but this one has an intricate line design on it. And then we have this one. It's got another design on it like that, and they are martini glasses. And I thought I can't leave those in the store. Then we have the one with dots on it. And they are absolutely vintage for sure. Very different. Let me get the description on these real quick. And they all had a different pattern, and this one's shaped totally different, but they're still the same. They're used for the same thing, and I went ahead and got those. And so all this stuff's going up, plus that Linden clock that looks like it just came off the showroom floor. That's going up. It's a 30-day. It does have the keys included. I don't think it was ever used. And let's get into the gallery here. I guess after the first of the year, they'll be flooded with donations, probably. I just didn't see it. It really surprised me. So I went on, like I said, a couple exits down and walked into it. Yeah, it's a vintage martini glass from Krosno, Poland. So they're pretty special, guys. Hey, Ellie. Yes, I had a great Christmas, and I hope you guys did too. But yeah, these are something else. And according to this, these are from Poland. That just does not happen. You don't find something unique like that. And there's Robin. Yeah, Robin, I had to. What I did was I got a new phone, and the guy told a big tale, and I ended up with a big bill, and I took the phone back, and they gave me my money back, and then I'll give you my new phone number. It did change. I felt like, and it really bugged me because it did change, though. I didn't want it to, but I took that phone, but I called the company. I said, your salesperson is not honest. Oh, no, it's this. Mama Chola, I believe you've got the number there for sure. That was where I had to back in, let's see, what was it, January of last year. And he talked up it's only $90, blah, 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 blah. And I look up, and I was paying over on $1,000 phone. I said, I don't think so. Man, I called the company and I said, your little salesperson. I said, he lied. He just didn't tell the whole story, which was a lie to me. So I took that phone right back down there, and they had to refund me too. I said, I didn't, oh yeah, it's only $90. And then you look up and you're in the lurch for over $1,000 phone. And I said, I think, Robin, I'm not for sure. I'll have to look it up. And I'm like, oh, no, he didn't. I called the company and said, you know what? The people that work for your company is, they are supposed to emulate your company and be truthful instead of, if I'd have been a man, boy, I tell you what, there'd have been feathers flying. So I got my money back for the phone, but he had me hooked in. Oh yeah, the phone's $90, and you're thinking, well, it's part of the, the deal. What the deal was, he had me in tow for he didn't tell me that. Man, I said, don't you know your employees are a reflection of your business? And I said, and people talk. So I think now their AT&T is in the middle of a lawsuit because people's numbers were compromised in a breach, but I wasn't with them at that time, and I really didn't want to change. But anywho, that's what happened. Oh, that made me so mad. Couldn't see straight. Then you have to go through that, happen to figure, you happen to memorize your number. I'm not for sure. Oh yes, Mama Chola, I was really. Whew. And then that Walmart manager almost towed him ahead. He goes, he, he said, calm down. And I said, I am as calm as I'm going to be. Well, it's escalating. I said, well, see, he didn't know. See, whenever you bought those phones, you got like a $200 or $300 gift card to Walmart. And that little uh, wet behind the ears manager ran his. I wanted to get him too. And they didn't, they was all worried because when I had to go around the corner to talk to the people at Walmart about that, they didn't know what I said. I thought, you little wet behind the ear little punk. And that's what he was. Had long hair. He thought he was all that. Well, if he sold it, he thought he was something. I was just that close to lighting him up. I don't care what he thought. He needs to be more concerned about the theft in there than somebody raising their voice. I didn't say I didn't have a bad temper neither, man. When I know when I'm about to get upset. I started to say something, but he should have been. He didn't know what the story was and set up there. I'll say what I want to. That's my right. And if the decibel is a little bit above unusual, that's too bad. Almost tore him up. I'd have told him to take his little wet behind the ears behind and go somewhere else. He probably was a manager for a hot week. He don't talk to me like that. That's a danger zone, let me tell you, because I'll tear you up. So now that I've vented that, they said, oh my God, ask her about a phone. And she went off the deep end. And here's the larger size. And I do have the smaller. And I do have 6 of these. Boy, when I get upset, it's on. My husband stood there. He didn't know what to say. So I do have the larger size and the smaller size, and I have 6 of each of the small one, then the big one. But I tell you, these phone people, and then he made the mistake of a friend of mine went in there. Hey, Suzanne. Suzanne, more than likely the auction, and there's other things that are here also, like a beautiful Linden 31-day wind-up clock that's probably from the 60s, and it looks like it just rolled off the showroom floor. That's going. The key is in there. It doesn't look like it's ever been touched. And welcome in, sweetie. Aren't they? Suzanne, I usually don't get wound up unless I'm going back down memory lane and somebody done ticked me off. But isn't those neat? And they are definitely vintage, something that you don't see every day. And yeah, it's crazy. And here's another one. And I thought they were different. And I thought, well, you know what? I'm going to pick those up. And then the score was this Waterford crystal here. I was able to get my hands on 11 of these. And they are Waterford crystal. They are vintage. And I saw 2 online. And they're going for, 2 of them's going for $40. And there's Sissy Winks. Welcome in. And everything you've seen, it's all going. And boy, does it. I possibly have some things that, you guys may be interested in, and welcome in. I came across this picture. I didn't look none too happy. And there's Lenore. Look at that. That's probably how I looked at him. They had me twist my neck really bad, and that's probably about how my eyes looked. But that was a professional picture taken of me many moons ago. Oh, there was something else I wanted to show you. She had me turn my neck, and I wasn't in was very uncomfortable. And this has I think I had something similar to this. Good to see you guys and welcome in. And look at this. It does have a wicker handle. I may have sold one before, and this is absolutely vintage. Isn't that beautiful? So, Suzanne, if it's glass you're seeking, look no further. But isn't that beautiful? And it's vintage, and I think Minnie got it. Well, here's its twin right here, and it's really beautiful. Nice sized. If you like glass, a lot of detail in that. Just a beautiful, beautiful basket. Makes you think about spring, doesn't it? But yeah, there's lots of things that's going to go up, guys. There's no holds barred, I'm telling you. Because I am keeping nothing and it's all going. I've got paper stacked up like crazy back here. It is all going. But I went in there to my usual stop, and they just didn't have anything, nothing. And I was there. I went one day, skipped a day, went the next day, still nothing. So, oh, did you, Minnie? Is this bigger maybe than the one I sold you? There is, Suzanne, I have all kinds of stuff. You name it, it's here, and some of it really needs to be sold down. The clock, hang on just a second. I'm going to have to attach that wooden piece, and it's going up. Where'd that wooden piece go to it? It's over here. Where's the bottom? Now, where's the bottom? Oh, here we go. I was about ready to lose it, guys. Okay. Okay, guys, this is heavy. And the chime is in the bottom, and the key is, which goes up there to that. It is a linden. It's a beauty now, guys. Isn't that gorgeous? It does have weight to it. I think it's from the 60s. Isn't that beautiful? And it does have a little weight to it. And everything you need's in the bottom. The little tick-tock thing, the little gold thing is in the bottom. Let me get a hold of it here. I tell you guys, I don't think this was ever used. I really don't. And in the bottom, you have the little, that right there, the little back and forth thing. And then you have the key is right on the bottom. Whoops. It just fell out, but the key is with it. And there's your key that you winded. It is a 30-day clock. The key, there's a bracket, and the key slides in there. Then you attach that to that, and it's what goes back and forth. It is a linden. It's in excellent condition. Oh, do you, Minnie? Yeah, they said it worked, and this is all glass, and it's just beautiful. Let's see if I can find the. I had to get this one; it was too good. Alrighty then. But Linden was a very, I think, for its time, it was a very upscale type of clock. And yeah, the little thing hangs. It's got a spot for it. It's in. I mean, I can't believe the condition this thing's in. It is just really an unexpected treat, let me tell you. What clock is running but outside now? But yeah, it's beautiful. And this is a wind up clock. A lot of people like to collect cuckoo clocks and stuff. I wasn't able, but this is vintage, guys, and the shape of this is just, it's just crazy good. And it does have weight to it. And there you have your little, it's beautiful, isn't it? There's a little spot or two, but man, this thing looks like it was. Hey, Bruce, welcome in. What clock? That clock. It's a Linden. It does have the key. There's a spot where the key slides in, and it's good to see you, Bruce. And it is a Linden. Let me fasten the door here. I just couldn't believe the shape of this. You know, usually if something's vintage, it's usually beat up. This looks like it that someone never used it. It's just that good. Bruce, I got my package with the Bakelite bangles and the sterling comb. So much better in person. Yeah, a lot of the things do show better in person than. Yeah, that was really a good picture. But that's a beauty, guys, and she's going up. There will be no holds barred on this one. Oh, I heard it chime. Of course, it hasn't been wound, but it will be. It's made out of good stuff, not like this stuff today that they throw it together and like your cars, guys. A car back in the day when you bought it, it was metal, not fiberglass, and that's why I think a lot of people get hurt in accidents because of that. Being my husband, he works at Ford's, and I think they're making a mistake, but that's my opinion. So they're totally retooling the plant over there at Ford Motor Company, and because they're going to do this electric battery stuff. And I'm like, that's crazy. To me, electric cars, I wouldn't have one if you gave it to me because, even you'd have to install a charging station at your house, and I'll tell them what that would cost. And so they're retooling that, and he's going to be off for like 2 or 3 months, but he had the opportunity to go over to the truck plant over there on and and he's got problems in his back and stuff with his arthritis around his spine. He said be his luck they'd put him on something so hard he couldn't do it, but then they do draw unemployment, but they want him to look for jobs. Well, what if this happens? What if they all look for find a different job and take it, and they're left with zero, they're short employees, but that's how they want them to do it. So I think they're sinking a lot of money into something that is not feasible, because I don't see an explosion of electric car vehicles going on, and I wouldn't own one. you know Yes, they do save gas and stuff like that. But there's nothing like that ever. There is complicated. If you have to buy another charging battery for that car, it costs you a fortune. Where you can just go to, wherever and buy you a battery on a gas operated car. It's not, to me, it's not feasible. Of course, I don't own their business, and good thing I don't, or we'd have a real conversation about how dumb that really is. You know, I haven't seen. You might see a handful of those electric cars, and I just don't think that. I think they made a mistake, really, but they do dumb things all the time. So I hate to say that, but it's true. I ran into a lady that I've seen in there, yes, and thank you for coming in. To a lady, I've seen a lady today that goes into the consignment. Real nice lady, and there's a lot of electric cars out there. I don't think they're ready for that yet. I think it's too. I do too, Bruce. I think they have more money than sense. I don't think it's feasible, and if that battery. Hey, Clayton, welcome in. If I missed you, hi there. God bless me with another car. What kind of car did you get, Clayton? But I don't think it's feasible. But they must have more money than common sense. Chevy Malibu. Oh, wow. Awesome. It's always that new car feeling is just a good feeling, isn't it? But I ran into a lady that she's all kinds of fun. Well, congratulations, sweetie. I'm happy for you. You know, and her ex-husband, he's got pancreatic cancer, and there's nothing they can do with that really. And then he fell and's got a couple brain bleeds, and the doctors gave him 2 weeks, because pancreatic cancer, you're pretty much a goner. You're welcome. And so that's her ex-husband, but she does have a son with him, and I guess the stepson is tore all to pieces. They're the same dad, but a different mom. And so meanwhile, she tells me that the guy that's got the pancreatic cancer, his brothers are fighting over what they're going to get. The man has not left this earth yet. And you've got two people who's supposed to be your brother and worried about and wanting to fight. Hey, Alfonso. Yes, I sure did, Alfonso. And fighting and I think he's in the hospital. Isn't that sad, Lenore, that he's in the hospital and he's basically in the last stages, and they're giving him medicine. Like when hospice comes in, they make him comfortable, and the other one, stepbrother's coming all the way from Florida to be with him because he's so tore up. Thank you, Clayton. I appreciate that. And isn't it, the man is on his deathbed, and instead of the brothers being in there spending time with him and stuff like that, they're worried about what I know. That's right, Lenore. I told my husband, I said, her son better get down to the courthouse and file for the executor of the estate, or there'll be a lot of shady things going on. We lost our grandparents and mom, and my aunts were fighting over for the house and the inheritance. Hey, Doug, welcome in. But isn't it bad? They should be there being with their brother, that his time is very limited, and don't worry about, people have got it all. all messed up. I couldn't be welcome. And Doug, I could not be that way. I could not be so. And I told the lady, "Hey, Frances, welcome in." I told the lady, I said, "I hope that the brothers don't get into it at the funeral home." And, I've heard about some really bad battle royales. You know, it's, I don't get it. Well, I know one thing. I told my husband, I said, he better get to that young man, better get to that courthouse and apply for executor of that estate. And when he gets it, slap a lock on that door. One of my aunt kept the house since she altered the will that my grandparents originally left. Oh my gosh, she altered the will. Isn't that kind of illegal? My mom sewed and did exactly what she wanted with her money, and we encouraged her to do it to enjoy what's hers. All her kids got their own. Yeah. I mean, it's just people, the greed, when you are so greedy that it overshadows your human compassion and decency, that's where the problem comes in. You know, that's their brother. They should spend as much time as they can with him because he's got pancreatic cancer and he fell and he's got two brain bleeds and it's a matter of time. So, it's bad, guys, when there's a death and there's grieving and you got two people at each other worried about one's going to get more than the other. It's just so wrong. If they would, I mean, people are so enthralled in what they're going to get. They might get something all right, but it might not be what they think they're going to get. But it's really sad. I couldn't be like that. You if you want to discuss something, I don't know if he had a will or whatever, but discussion for that is after you first go to that person's side and be with them while they're still there. And then you have the funeral, and that can be discussed later. There's no sense in. I lost my oldest aunt in Texas due to cancer back in 2014. She didn't left anything behind because she had reverse mortgage on the house. I tell you, that's why a lot of people leave a lot of their stuff to charity, because you know why? Because people don't have enough sense, for one, to act like an adult and not be greedy, and that way it's gone and there's nothing to fight about. They can't fight with each other because one didn't neither party got anything. So that's of course I only have one child and she'll get it all. So it's sad. Life is really short, and you would think that they'd want to be in there at their brother's side, the one they grew up with. And that's why I told my husband, I said they better get to that courthouse and sign up for executor and slap a lock on that house, because they'll rifle through it and that's the only way to make it fair, is to put a lock on it, and then after the funeral and things like that, they could go through it and stuff. And but then I'm sure he had a home, and they'll have to sell the home. And my oldest uncle passed away first back in 2006, long before my oldest aunt. To me, I don't think about, when somebody passes away, I don't think about what I'm going to get. I really don't, because why? Why, if you're thinking more about what you're going to get than you do that person, you got a problem. Greediness takes over their heads, as the more they have, the more they want, and no one is there to take, and that's true. And I think it's so sad, guys, when somebody, and then you have those people that haven't even been around the person that passed away. The minute they die, boom, they're there so fast that people's heads spin, thinking they're going to get something. It's bad enough that you're losing that person instead of somebody being. It happens in every family, though. Somebody always thinks it's all about them, even though someone passed away. They think it's all about them. Well, you know, and it's really sad. The things that we have in this life. One day will be gone, and we wonder, how's it going to be handled? Is there going to be fighting and scrapping? Or I was very sad when she passed away. I saw her in hospice. Yeah, Alfonso, that's usually the very last stop because at that point they're giving them medicine to keep the pain down and to make them comfortable. When they know their time is coming. But it's really sad. I had a little client that she wasn't no bigger than nothing, but she was tough and she was so her breathing was so labored and she had a very strong will and of course they had to give her morphine for the pain and everything because it would have been unbearable. But I tell you, that lady was tough, and it's really hard to watch that, that someone's passing, and it's really hard to watch that, But my oldest cousin in Iowa had to come down and get my oldest aunt, didn't want any memorial service. Well, some people really don't. I mean, I think if someone requests something, if they don't, maybe that's, even though it would have been nice to have one, but, when they're leaving this earth, we should honor what they want no matter, you know. And I know it's sad because, that's when family comes together to speak about the person. But yeah, some people just don't want any kind of anything, and I think that's up. I would never go against if a person was passing. I would never go against that. She didn't want it because she knew that my older aunts and uncles would be fighting over the inheritance. Oh, yeah, some of the worst throwdowns have been in funeral homes, and yeah, that's not a way to remember somebody with people at each other. And I mean, and it happens a lot. People just can't control them themselves, and they're so greedy and they want it now, and they don't care who has to go down as long as they get it. And it's not right. But whenever there's money involved, things get pretty ugly sometimes, guys. You know, I think as long as you have the money to live comfortably, your car runs, your house is in good shape, you have food to eat, and after that, my other aunt started going after my oldest cousin for not having the memorial service. She did not want, she did what her mom, yeah, that's what her mom didn't want. She didn't want, which I don't blame her. If you're remembering somebody, you don't want to remember two people into it and fussing and ruining everything. And I think we should honor those requests, after all, if they're asking for it and you say that's how it's going to go, that's how it should go. You shouldn't, you know, if that's how they want it, that's how it should be. However, I did when my father-in-law passed away. They wanted to put him in blue jeans, and I said no. I said, you are not putting him in a pair of blue jeans. So I picked him out a pair of slacks. I said, your dad would not want to be, because when he went out somewhere, he wore nice dress pants. I said he would not want to be seen. And I did put my foot down on that. But other than that, I said, let me handle it. I said, we'll get it. I couldn't see that, you know. Because I knew that he did like to wear dress clothes especially and stuff. So I did override that. But hey, Kirsten, welcome in. I did override that, but that was me. Wasn't my dad, but I said you guys are not putting him in blue jeans. I said, let me take care of it. I said he wouldn't like that to start with, and but I just thought this Waterford crystal was gorgeous, and it's vintage. And I have 11, and all this stuff is going up. And thank you, Lenore, for dropping those links. There will be nothing left behind. Might take me an eternity to wrap all this stuff, but hey, I can do it. I'm not the fastest gun in the West. Never said I was, but yeah, we have all this. If you like glassware, you're in the right place, because looks like there's some bubbling in that, but you're definitely in the right place. Does anyone know anything about T? Is she still not on, guys? I remember going to church 20 years ago. The priest said that the only musicians can take their musical instruments when they pass on. Oh, really? Huh. That's interesting. Oh, is everything okay, Bruce? Because usually she comes on, so I hope she's okay. You get used to certain people being on, and when they're not on, you're like, oh no. But yeah, there'll be a lot of stuff moving out of here. I'm surprised on this clock, given the weight of it, that they don't have more brackets on it, because it is heavy. Man, this thing's got some weight to it. It's a beauty. Personally, it's only got one bracket on the back. I would take that off, and I would add a larger bracket on the back, because that's not very big. Kind of makes you paranoid looking at it, but I would add a bigger, you could even add two small ones on there, but it's a heavy one. It's made really well. But I would take that. That's kind of, however, it's really on there really well. But isn't that gorgeous? That's going up. I'm not keeping anything. So, you guys got any New Year's plans? Actually, tonight is a quiet night. Leslie's not going to be on. I think Leslie's sons came in. That I seen the picture of them. Yeah, I'm sure that she's visiting with her sons and everything, which I don't know. They look like their ages were pretty close. You may have to work that day. Alfonso, what kind of work do you do? Can you believe New Year, a year is just was there and now it's gone. So, any goals for 2026? Any aspirations? Any things like that? We know one thing: the gyms will be full after the holidays, the Thanksgiving and the Christmas, and won't be able to find a parking spot. People be usually they get started in January, and by late February, early March, they usually give it up at a thrift store. And you've been there for 6 years. I know it. Where has the time gone? My sister always told me, she goes, if you think time goes fast now, wait till you get older. I'm scheduled to play the piano at the senior memory care on the 6th. What are you going to play, Alfonso? Do you have a certain thing you play, or I think that's interesting. And a lot of you, for those who don't know, I'm sure a lot of you do, Alfonso is blind and he plays the piano at the at the senior memory care, and I think that's wonderful. I think music really, it's a good thing, you know. Like I said, sometimes when people are sight impaired or hearing impaired, usually they usually have a talent a lot of times that, which is really, you know, I couldn't play the piano full sided, much less the other way. But yeah, I think that's wonderful that he does that. I mostly play the old time gospel. I know that Christmas is not over until Epiphany, which is the last day of Christmas. Okay. So, Alfonso, how long have you been playing the piano? Did you start as a youngster? And then I know a lot of times when a lot of people get their, like in his case, will get them piano lessons and stuff. But sometimes it just comes natural, guys. Like I said, I couldn't play it with, if I had x-ray vision, I still couldn't play it. But a lot of times, you know, people that have those disabilities have other talents. I started at age 17. I'm now 41. I started off playing in church in Almagondo back in 2004. Wow. And I guess you, thanks for the hearts. I guess you have to, you know, you can't see, but you know by feel, I guess. And I guess in your mind, you have a mental picture of the keys on the piano and stuff like that. I still think it's great because I couldn't play a note on one. I remember when during Christmas when I couldn't have been no more than 10 or 11, and our dad buys me and my sister that's 2 years older than me an organ, and then we started using it, and he said, quit. My next sale will be what did I say it was on? See, I even forgot here. It'll be on the 2nd of January, the day after New Year's. I gifted my 6-year-old granddaughter piano lessons for Christmas. She has enough toys. Yeah, I think we should. Yeah, it'll be January the 2nd. And that's nice. I think we should stimulate things like that to children because it's so, you know, I think that's wonderful, Suzanne, to piano lessons she might take right off. Hey, Carol, Happy New Year. So far, so good, Carol. We was all talking about how quickly time goes by. And she can play by ear at 6. Oh my goodness. She'll really take off then. And I think it's wonderful to encourage, you know, kids like that. I've been told that music is the best gift to give someone, a gift that can last a lifetime. That is so true. just think, Suzanne, kids grow up so fast, and one day you'll see her at the piano and she'll be a teenager, and you're like, where did the time go? To see her grow up like that and appreciate things like that. It's a good thing. Some people are just natural at it. Wouldn't it though? To look over and look at her now and think about down the road when she gets older. And I think we should really stimulate interest in kids. I think that a lot of the mistakes that people make is trying to get their kids to do something that they want them to do, not what the child wants. And you can't be successful if you're not, if you don't want to do something. There's no thrill in that. So yeah. And it's good to see you, Care Hill, and welcome in. It's glad to see you. It's about 60 out there today, guys. It feels like spring. It tricks us here. We're thinking spring, and then old man winter makes a return. We're like, I play flute and piano, so I know how wonderful music is in our lives. Oh, yeah. Oh, wow, Suzanne, how long have you been playing the flute? When did you start playing the flute and the piano? Probably when you was smaller. I wish it felt like spring here. We had 45 inches of snow last night. Oh, my goodness. Since middle school. So it's kind of nice to see, your granddaughter going in that direction, and I think that's really nice to see her do that. 21 degrees. Ugh. I'm in Indiana and it's like 60. It's like spring out there. But I think next week, about Tuesday, is when reality will set back in. But I know. Well, we just got to roll with the punches. It'll be get through. Usually, isn't January the longest month ever? It seems like January, February, March. She loves hearing her Nana play, so hopefully that has inspired her. Probably so. And I'm glad that she took that interest, and I just love to see that. Like I said, I could imagine her as a little girl and then growing. She's a teenager sitting at that piano, just wearing it out, so to speak. Our winter here in Colorado is normally from October to the end of May. Oh my God. No holidays in January. Mama Chola's birthday is in February, and so is mine. I think hers is the 4th, and mine is the 8th, and my husband's is the 13th of February. So we was all Aquarius there. Hey Beth, welcome in. Check out this Waterford crystal, Beth. I got 11 of these, and that is Waterford crystal. Isn't that amazing? And they're vintage, and it's all going, all of it. And I had to go to the Salvation Army because my other place didn't have anything. And thank you for dropping that. I appreciate it. But my family's very slim and in between because grandparents are, of course, I'll be 62. Gosh, 62, and it don't seem possible. So very limited on Oh, we're the same age. I'll be 62 in February. I'm like, dang. Did we ever think we'd hear ourselves say 62? Well, as long as you're healthy. 62 is a new, I'll take that. I'll take 42 any day. But I think as long as you're healthy, and Mama Chola will be 71. And Mama Chola, your birthday's the 4th of February. All these February kids. And my daughter's birthday is March the 5th. So I try to keep. Now, see, now Doug has a birthday. Raven's Chest Doug's birthday. And Beth is a March baby, and she'll be 45. Now, Doug's birthday is the 29th, which is next Monday. Thank you. It's amazing what a little makeup can do, right? When I was younger, I had oily skin, but yeah. And thank you, Suzanne. Oh my goodness. But yeah, Raven Chest Doug's birthday is Monday. This Monday, the 29th, I believe, December the 29th. Yep. 20. Some dates I can remember and some I can't. Oily skin is a gift, even though we hate it when we. Yeah, I had some acne too. And my forehead was it was really oily, but I guess, you know, it, finally it's a little less oily, but it does get that way. So, yep, that nice oily skin. Actually, Tanya and Doug will be in San Francisco Monday, and they're also meeting up with Karen. That's right. Oh, wow. That ought to be really exciting. A big, on the big day. Yep. And it is on Monday, December the 29th. So that'll be exciting. Getting to meet, it's one thing to see someone online, but another thing to see them in person. But I've got my hair to where it's going to be spiked out in the back. Just a little change there. I have a real good hairdresser. He's a man. He looks like, what's that young man that took over Alex Trebek? Oh, what is his name? Oh, he took over Alex Trebek's place on Jeopardy. What is his name? But my hairdresser, they could be twins. They look just. What is his name? Ken Jennings. Ken Jennings. Almost drew a blank there for a minute. And that's who he looks like. A little redhead. He takes care of his mother's 82. He takes good care of her, and they switched doctors. That she had a doctor that was. This man is 80 years old, guys, and is still a doctor. He was giving her medicine that didn't mesh together, and a couple times she fell. So we leave January 31st to go to Florida. Then we go on the cruise on February the 1st, come back from the cruise February the 8th, stay 2 more days in Florida, and come back to New Jersey on the 10th. Wow, you got a busy itinerary there. Wow, that's kind of good to get away when all the frigid weather is getting at its. Yeah, you'll be leaving next Wednesday then. Isn't that though? Being a nice warm climate while we're over here shivering. No, I'm kidding. But yeah, it's time goes by so quickly. Let's see. My birthday is on a Sunday this year. My husband's birthday is on a Friday. January. Why did I think December? Thank you, Mama Chola, for clarifying. I was thinking Bruce and them was leaving January. Yeah, you got a little while yet. Bruce said, "Gee whiz, she wanted to ship us out early." January 31st. I've already told my grandsons that one of them are driving me to see you. Yep. So how many miles are you talking about, Mama Chola? If they're in Florida, and I think you live in Florida as well, don't you, Mama Chola? And tell them to make sure they don't that make sure they're a safe driver so they don't scare you on the way over there. My husband, when my daughter started driving, he had this invisible brake over on the other side, and he'd stretch out. And Shannon would say, "What are you doing?" And he said, "Stretching," but he was hitting that invisible brake over there on the passenger side. Yeah. Well, I guess, everybody drives different, but you out there today, you better drive defensively because crazy people. We leave from Miami. Yeah, that's a good port where a lot of them leave from. It's about 6 hours to Miami Beach. Oh, the word beach sounds so good. A beach with white sand and sounds good. But yeah, Ford's is going to put that retool for an electric battery that I think they're making a mistake, but they're the one calling the shots. So my little Chihuahua Ginger, she loves having my husband around. She's stuck to him like glue. Wherever he goes, she goes. And I picked her out for my dog, and she ends up attached to my husband. And you can ask her, say, "Ginger, where's your daddy?" And she can be in his lap and she'll look right at him. She knows. Hey, bird on a wire. Help. Everyone had a great Christmas. And yeah, it went by. You spend all this time in preparation for it. And then it's over in what, a couple, 3 hours after everybody gets done with their gifts and their eating and everything. And bird on a wire, I hope you had a nice holiday. And there's Romel. Romel, he's a stinker. He goes, "Now wait a minute, Romel, have you started restringing those faux pearls yet?" What they were a brand name, and I forget what they were, but I got them for Romel through Doug Vintage Boutique Cali, so he could do those. So be interesting to see what it was, a brand name, and I forget what they were. So he gets to do the stringing, and then he can list them, and he sells through a platform in the Asian countries called Carousel, and he sells on there, and still with Doug. Oh, he does pretty good. He had some really nice glass that I checked him out. He kind of has a voice like Ricardo Montalban of Fantasy Island. 363 days till Christmas. But yeah, Romel, he does his listing and he buys and he's still holding my items. Oh, is he? get get ready. 363 days till Christmas. And thank you, Lenore, for dropping that. I appreciate it. But I saw Beth's. Uh, Today is Saturday, and I missed that. Beth has a lot of neat things. I need all 363 to recover from the last one. Yeah, it's a busy time, and and by the way, Beth, remember what we talked about the PayPal and the fees, and lo and behold, that's how they wanted me to send it, and I said no. I said number one, it's not insured, and number two, the charges are reversed. I said mm-mm. I'm not. You never want to. I could just imagine spending. I mean, it wasn't a what I would call a tremendous amount of money, but if it's not insured, that would be suicide. I can't stay. I'm getting a migraine and need to quit looking. Yeah, at the screen. I've hit the thumbs up. Thank you, Bird on a Wire. Yeah, you'll have to go in a dark room and just lie down and hope it. A lot of I've never had a migraine, and I kind of feel bad for those who do. And I said nope. I said there's no insurance. I said there's no way that is not good. And right. And then I mean, what if it went to Timbuktu or something and got lost or whatever? It's just you have to protect you're going to invest in something, you got to protect, your investment. Right. So, we can't even, we got to be smart about it. We can't do something and regret it. That's for sure. And I thought, oh boy, the post office has a limit on the number of claims that you can make per year. I wonder how many got to have right of recourse. Try to scan. Got to have a right of recourse if right. That's true because isn't it sad that we live in a world where there's scam. Thank you for the hearts. That there's scams everywhere and fake stuff, fake. And I think a lot of these companies are starting to put their gift cards behind the counter because people do this thing with it where the minute it's scanned, they spend your money. 3 to 4 claims a year. Yeah, that's true. They call you and they want to talk their stuff, and it's bad, People, and I'll tell you where it goes on heavy is over in India. There's a lot of that going on over there. They have call centers. That's all they do is just call, 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 but Amazon Prime, they had something about a leakage of information on something, and so there was a settlement, and it was for people that had Prime, and I got $50 as a result of it. So I guess if you had Amazon Prime or something, got to run to on my way to Winster Casino to see the band Creed, and maybe went a little after the concert. Everyone have a great night. Love and hugs to you all. Good luck to you, Ellie. Remember, if you're ahead, quit. If you win something and it's halfway decent, walk away. Anything after that, they just deny your claim, even though you can. That's not right. That is dirty, even though you can still buy insurance. That's so dishonest. And they say that the postal system is not owned by the government, it's its own separate entity. And I thought the post office was government, but evidently not. My husband was talking to someone at our post office, and they said everybody thinks we're government, but we're not. We're our own separate entity. So, but good luck to you, Ellie. Put that rabbit's foot in your pocket, and the lucky rabbit's foot. And UPS, and I don't know about FedEx, but UPS is really no better. And I quit fooling with them because they eyeball a box, and they've already tabulated what the weight should be. And the post office actually run by contractors. I'll be darned. I thought it was government, but it's not. So we learn something new every day. But yeah, it's here's how you keep from spending a lot of money. Only take a certain amount, and if you lose it, then you stop, and that way you can't, because I know you get that fever when you get lucky and everything's turning your way, and Murphy's law says sometimes every turn has a curve, right? These contractors and postal workers are funded by the federal government. Really? Huh. I know over in places like Louisville, Kentucky, I live in Indiana, they still have people that walk the route and deliver mail. I'd be so afraid of a dog and have to carry your mace, I guess. So, but yeah, we're definitely going to have that sale on the 2nd of January. So everything you see and then some. The old vintage, I think it's dirty. The old vintage whiskey shot glass will also be going up after I clean it up. So there's a lot of old stuff. And here was another thing that I found. I found this as well. Yeah, have fun. Remember, if you start winning and it's more than what you came with, stop, right? Ellie said, shoot. She goes, I've got a debit card. Yeah, once you start winning, you need to walk away because the longer you play, thank you. The longer you play, the less chance you have of. That big lottery that was it was 125, what was it, $1 million, and somebody won that. It was a big jackpot, and I forget where it was. Couldn't you imagine having that amount of money, waking up and say, congratulations, you won $125 million? My gosh, I'd say you're lying to me now. Come on. I told my husband to get his tickets, but whoever won that? Someone won the whole thing. Thank you, Beth. Can you imagine waking up and you'd have to wake up brush your teeth, throw some clothes on, board a plane, and get the heck out of Dodge because, you know, I would never, some people go, I wouldn't want to be known because you'd have relatives from you never even seen before and come in. But yeah, you'd have to get on a plane and leave town because, you know, you're going to be found out sooner or later. So it's best to leave town. And when they knock on the door, nobody comes to it, right? Oh my, that would be if I had won something like that, I would have given some of it to St. Jude Children's Hospital and Shriners, where they take care of the crippled kids and stuff. And both those places that where they go, they don't have to pay any money. I would give them a big, huge endowment. But since it wasn't me, but that's what I would do. I would give it toward, helping children like that. Another thing I cannot stand, they keep showing those commercials about dogs that are starved to death. I can't stand it. I'm going to start fast. I cannot stand that. I would be gone and no one would know it until I contacted them from an island. Yeah, you'd have to leave Las Vegas because you'd have people on your doorstep and have relatives you ain't never seen before. And when they knock on the door, nobody comes to it. Yeah, I hate that. I get so tired of looking at the where people have starved animals and mistreated them, and it just makes me so sad to know that somebody and really an animal just you know they're a good companion and all they want to be is loved. And some I had a friend of mine, she had a knew where someone had a Clydesdale horse now, with the big feet, and somebody was starving it, and by gosh, she sent the Humane Society over there and they took that horse. I mean, here you had this big horse, he had no food, nowhere to get out of the weather, and no water. They took it. They took that horse right now. I think it's bad when people do something like that to a horse or any animal. Yeah, the Humane Society come and got it. And then a friend of mine had some little, I think they were either geese or some kind of ducks over on his property. They had no shelter, and at first he had them in this little thing that they couldn't move around, and some of them passed away. And a friend of mine, she called that guy from the Humane Society, and he said, "You need to get these ducks in a better thing where they've got shelter and food and stuff like that." Because she would throw like vegetable thing, leaf soft vegetables over there because he wasn't feeding them. Why, by gosh, that guy come and got them. And he had a farm with a lake, and he said, "Well, I'll just take these and put them on my lake." He said, "They'll think they died and went to heaven. Who needs ducks in a residential property? Really? I think he come and got him. He told him he was coming. He said, "If I don't see a proper structure for these ducks, then they're gone." He come and got them. I mean, that was weird, but I don't like to see an animal. An animal depends on us to feed it and take care of it. If you don't want it, take it to the pound because at least they'll feed it and water it and take care of it instead of being mean and stuff like that. There's no sense in that. being like that. I think they should have stricter laws on these people. I think when they get caught, that there should be some jail time, and then there should be a work detail with them going into shelters and feeding animals and cleaning up after them. And if they don't do it, they get locked in the cell with the door slammed in their face. That's crazy. They should have stricter laws on that, and that would cut some of that out. I think over in Louisville 6 months ago, someone took a mother dog and her babies, and it was in a box, and he just set them along the side of the road and left them there. And he got caught. He thought he'd put them poor, and somebody drove up and seen the box and went to it, and it had puppies and a mother dog, and they figured out who done it, and they socked it to him. Leave it. I have to go to feed 3 dogs there after my ankles. Hope you have a wonderful weekend and a very happy, blessed, profitable New Year, Gina. And thank you, Mama Chola. And I'm going to let you guys go. Thank you for stopping in. Come January the 2nd, nothing is being kept that has been seen. There's other things as well. And there's still a set of dishes I've never unboxed. And I will catch you guys later. Thank you for being here. Don't forget the thumbs up. Love you guys. And I'll see you somewhere in a chat, I guarantee you. And thank you for being here. And Happy New Year. Love you guys. Take care. Probably see somebody in a chat auction, I'm sure. And thank you for the hearts. Thank you guys. Bye-bye. Thank you for being here. Thanks for the hearts.